Mr. Chairman. I would like to make a motion that we change policy on tires so that we can accept tires from passenger vehicles and light trucks up to 22 inches.
Can that be seconded now, also do it, or whatever we need to do? Yeah, I think that's what we all want to have. I think that's the easy way to have it. I'll second it.
Now, any discussion on that? Okay, let's do a roll call vote on this. Gene? Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Thank you, Gary.
And my only request is that we get that information out to the recycling centers pretty quickly.
And we'll send a letter to our contractor that after the board meeting. My understanding of most of us will accept passenger vehicle and light truck tires up to 20.
Right. Including SUVs, which would be a light truck.
Okay. Any other unfinished business? Hearing none, we'll move on to reports. First is Constitutional Officers Report. First to be Treasurer. Welcome, Sam.
Good morning, sir. Got a copy of the updated revenue report for you as of yesterday, I guess. Did it get yesterday? In our consolidated account report, currently $49,013,220. Our general fund balance in the last month was $24,523,140. And then on the updated finance report, revenue report, to date we've collected $1,689,000 worth of taxes. It's been coming in fairly steady. The mail is what we get the most of right now. And it's still coming in pretty good. So real money doesn't come in late. So everybody's holding on to it, that 1% interest rate. Since you're getting our 0.5% or whatever. And then a couple of these things, we did that national change of address program. David ran all the tax information through the national change of address before we mailed out the tickets, and it really worked good this year. We changed like 1,400 addresses. Some of them came back that were screwed up. Don't know why. Like for West Washington Street, it just put WW or something like that. You know, a few of them got screwed up. I don't know how, but you know, we've got those straightened out.
Thank you. Have you been getting that many back, or
Yeah.
has the post office been trying to find them, or?
Yeah, we get them back.
You get them back.
We have to readdress them and send them out.
So this saves you
Saves a lot of time and postage. It costs us $300 to do this, but I think it's well spent money.
Yeah.
So the ones that came back with forwarding addresses on, probably 10 or 15, and we did get about 3/4 of a tray back, the ones that were undeliverable. And, you know, I don't know what the story is on that. There's no address change for them, and they're undeliverable.
Most of that's personal property, I think.
It's probably 60-40. There's a lot of real estate in personal property. Probably more personal property in there where people moved in and out and things like that, mostly. But they're just undeliverable. You know, I don't know what we can ever do about trying to track people down or whatever. But it saved a lot of time and money this year. What we did, I think, is well spent money doing that. I don't know, something we can do every year before we send them out. It's probably well worth the money to do that. And this year we sent out a little over 20,000 personal property tickets, 19,000 real estate tickets, for a total of 39,411 tickets we sent out. And it was for $16,500,000 $330,487, and that was less some credits and the payments. You know, we have the land use, age credit, the veterans credits this year was new. And then prepays, we had a lot of prepays this year. We did over $175,000 worth of prepays this year. That's probably the most we've ever had in prepays. Not big money per se, but it helps a lot of people.
Comes in regular too, I think.
Every month, we get checks, you know, stack of checks about every day, you know, $20, $25, but it helps the citizens, and that's why we do that prepaid program. And that's all I got today. Anybody got any questions?
Any questions, Sam?
Credit card deal still working?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's working good. We're trying to get it on each position, because it gets to the point, when we get busy, we're lined up this credit card machine, and we're trying to find equipment to hook into the web, because we're hamstrung with just one analog line in the office. Well, we got two, one in the back room and one in the front room. And David says we can get some equipment to hook it to the web and go through our credit cards like that. So that's a project we're trying to work on and get that done.
I just wanted the knowledge of that, because it's getting out by word of mouth that there's no charge, no fee.
Yeah, we use a lot. I'd say probably a third of them right now, credit cards. I mean, a lot of people use it. It's good service.
Oh,
Really
it's
good service.
Win-win.
Yeah, that's right.
I've had people ask me about, they're saying they're getting like 10 or 15 tax tickets for different properties. They're all coming in different envelopes. Is there anything we can do about trying to consolidate some of that, save on postage?
The way that works, Gene, they look at the address line, and if the address line's the same, and it matches the name line exactly, they combine them. A lot of them, you know, some of them get packaged like that. If you have two real estates, one in Sam and Arlene and one in Arlene and Sam, I'll send two tickets. We wanted to work on that, and we have a way of fixing that, and we haven't done it yet. David said we can build an account file. We can sit down and go through the accounts and combine them, and that hasn't gotten accomplished. We'd like to do it. One day we'll get around to doing that. We'll get some time. You know, David can work with us on that.
Town uses the same system, because I'm getting the same thing in town also, aren't they? They use the same company.
Different companies.
Well, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah. Different.
Get a ticket, be top.
It depends, your address line and the name line have to match exactly. Things like Lynn Goforth, all the real estate tickets he has, he gets a brown envelope full of them, because they got every one of those exactly the same on all their tickets. And that's what it boils down to. The big price for these, if they do it the same way every time, it'd be great help. But we can cure it, we just haven't got to do it yet.
I noticed on my town tickets that I had my vehicles all on one sheet, but then personal property, real estate was separate. I don't know how we accomplished that, but all the Toyotas must have exactly the same name, because they were printed on one sheet.
Yeah, probably so. And a lot of it is the way it comes out from DMV, from what we print, what comes out of DMV. Yeah.
Any more questions? Thank you, Sam.
Yes, sir.
Derek, you have anything for us?
Just a couple of items, Mr. Chairman.
Looks like you're well prepared.
Wow, never match these things, Mr. Chairman. First thing is the Virginia Public Safety Foundation is in the process right now of building a memorial in Richmond of the Commonwealth Public Safety Memorial. Memorial will honor all public safety officers killed in the line of duty. We do have one line of duty death, Deputy Cliff Dicker in 1994. We're assembling all of the required documents at this time to submit to these people for the engraving of his name on the memorial itself. The documents are quite extensive. I was quite surprised, to be perfectly frank with you. But that will be done, and his name will be on that memorial when it's finished. Last month, I missed the meeting, sorry. Chief's Challenge Award for the County Sheriff's Office, where we placed, first place in our category. As we speak, we have a deputy in Chicago who is receiving the International Association of Chiefs of Police First Place Award for the Wood County Sheriff's Office. In addition, he will also be receiving for the Sheriff's Office, the Sheriff's Office, the National Sheriff's Association Traffic Safety Unit Award, which is a national award. We're judged against all agencies, not just agencies our size. So our our traffic safety unit has been judged this year to be the best in the nation, which means we'll be LAPD and LA Sheriff's Office, which I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, you should be.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully I'll have the opportunity to bring these awards in once we get them all gathered up. Mr. Dalton and I have been talking, and we've agreed on the location on the 15th and 16th of November, and I bring this to your attention because you might get some calls over it. The Sheriff's Office, Virginia State Police, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is going to be putting on basically an improvised explosive device training here in Wood County, both for the recognition of, primarily for the recognition of it, and also to give each officer an idea of what kind of damage things would cause. We have found a location that will be relatively secluded in Progress Park, but it's going to be rather loud. So you may get some calls, and you may get some calls. There will be one vehicle involved with a car bomb, and the rest of them will be air explosions. But the areas that we picked out, there's no danger to the public. Like I said, it might just be a little bit loud, but they have been advertising this, both the ATF and Virginia State Police for some time. They're getting a pretty good response from the law enforcement agencies in the area. To my knowledge, this is the first local training on improvised explosive device that has been put on. So the world in the condition that it's in today, I think it's necessary that these officers know what you're dealing with should they run up against it. That's all I have.
Can you say that was?
It's going to be on the 15th and 16th of November. I'll be there. Hopefully, I don't know if I'll hear it on Big Walker Mountain or not, where I'll be hunting.
I just,
There's a good chance.
I'll definitely get a call.
It's a good thing we don't have that noise ordinance.
That's what I was just thinking. We hurry up with that noise ordinance. We'll arrest our own sheriff.
Be during the daytime.
Sheriff, on behalf of the board, I'd like to congratulate you on the award you received, and if you would please pass that information along to your staff.
I will.
We're proud of you and proud of them.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much.
Ms. Castle, you have anything?
I do.
All right.
I got a little annual report. This was in your packet, but I thought that maybe the hard copy with the shaded areas there might be a little bit easier for you to read. This is our 2011 report of all the assessments that were made, and this is what made up the tax book and was given to Sam for the tax tickets to be prepared. The first green area is the 2011 assessments. To the right of that is the increase or decrease from 2010 by amount. To the right of that gives a percentage of that same figure. And then on the second green line, that gives you the tax levy that was imposed for the assessment. And then you have the increase or decrease beside of that, the percentage, and then I listed the tax rates for the past 2 years, which they did not change. So on our real estate, we had an increase of $11,264,231, which gave 0.5% increase. On our personal property, we had $3.3 million, or 1.5% increase. Machinery and tools, we had a decrease of $3.5 million, or 1.86%. Our mobile homes had a decrease of $332,000, or 1.31%. Our merchants' capital had an increase of $248,000, or 0.43%. The public service was up by $2.4 million, or 1.53%. So, if we carry that all the way across all of our revenues that were able to be put on the book for this past year, we had a 0.41 of 1%. So we're just about as flat as we can get for our assessments for this year. Less than 0.5% increase over 2010. The CRIPA, which is Crossroads Investment
Regional.
Okay. Anyway, that amount that's passed through money is $543,738. That's made up of 3 industries, which is Hatsumi, the bottling group, and Sewing. So that made up, what, $543,738, and that's just passed through on to that group. Our mobile homes were down a bit, but that's due to the fact that we have had some of those replaced by double wides, which go along to real estate, and then the discovery factor, which there's always mobile homes out there that have been assessed for years and have not been found, and we were able to determine that some of them are just not around or have been destroyed, so that made that up. We had age credits, which is a credit on mobile homes, and that figure amounted to $2,615. Our new construction assessments, which involved 626, and that totaled a little over $12 million. That's for a portion of the year on new assessments. Our road tax assessment totaled $70,801. Our tax exempt and tax immune property makes up 12.01% of all land. Once again, our personal property credit was $2,615. Our real estate credit for the veterans, which was a new credit this year, that involved 26 applications, and that amounted to $13,415. Our real estate age credit, which involved 520 applications, amounted to $91,008. Our land use, which involved 1,483 applications, and that amounts to $1,098,502. So our total credit, which came off of our value of assessments originally, was a little over $1.2 million. The bottom figure just gives a little bit of a breakdown of our total acreage. Our total acreage for Wood County is 294,400, and of that we have in the ag and horticultural ordinance or the land use 107,971 acres. Our national forest and the big survey is 45,533. We now have 59 conservation easements totaling 7,032 acres. And then our residential, commercial, farm, everything else is 133,864 acres. I'll be glad to try to answer any questions.
In that bottom figure, the 133,864 acres, residential, commercial, farmland, exempt, et cetera, that's farmland that has not been placed in land use.
It's everything else that's not listed above.
What did we lose in machinery and tools? That it dropped?
Probably depreciation, wasn't it?
Depreciation 20 to 50%, and they have maybe a little bit, there wasn't anything significant as far as
Like
the industry or
closure.
anything like that. I really think for the economy right now, that's not bad for us to hang in there.
Well, can I ask you, based on your experience over the years, you said this is pretty flat growth, 0.41, less than 0.5%. Have you seen it lower, or have you, and I know we've seen it higher, I've seen it higher than Doug on the board, you've seen it lower.
I don't believe so, but I do have those reports I could go back and see since I started doing this form, which has been probably 20 years.
I think it's really telling on the economy, this is a good way of.
If someone, if you'd like to do a graph or something on that, I have that information that, you could do it.
I think it'd be interesting, especially around budget time.
Oh, I do too.
To see this, so I would recommend that we might look at it.
I'll be glad to.
This, I know we're going through revalidation right now, which is, I think, ends November 1st. Most people revalidating, or how?
We only have about, we have, 5 days left and over 500 applications. So, there's a lot of farmers that need to come through that door.
I have one I have to ask you some questions about.
But this is a really unusual year. I will do a printout probably this afternoon on everybody that has not revalidated their land use. And we'll try to get a hold of them, call them, such as that. But because it's a reassessment year, they have 30, number one, the board years ago did an amendment to the ordinance, which gives you an additional 30 days to sign up if you have not signed up for revalidation for the land use program for an additional 10 cents per acre. So you still can do it if you miss the deadline for 30 additional days, and it would be 30 cents an acre instead of 20 cents an acre. Then, after that point, when the notices go out for reassessment, the code permits any farmer to come in for the next 30 days after the date of that notice and come in and sign up for land use, and of course, if you're eligible, you can do that. So if they have missed it, and will miss it after November the 1st, they have the option of paying a late fee, or they have the option of coming in and signing up for 30 days after they get their reassessment notice. If they do that, they have to start out with a new application, which means $25 application fee and 20 cents per acre. So this is the one time where you'll have 2 additional areas there that you can still sign up for land use.
Well, we haven't, and it's not our
People
fault.
on this board that have been.
Our grandson won't turn over figures, and I told my husband when I left home this morning, you better be getting a hold of it.
When will determination be made about the land use thing?
Well, we can do it. I personally do not see that any change could be since everything is as flat as it is. I don't anticipate any change. It's currently $550. We'll work on that.
Yeah, I think it's huge.
Anything else?
Any more questions, Ms. Castle?
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I overlooked one thing that we should have done early on. I would like for you to introduce our new voice for the board supervisors.
Well, I'd be more than happy to. We have with us today Miss Jenna Nichols-Cole. Jen, she's been with us for 7 days now, I believe. Jenna, if you'll just introduce yourself and give us a little brief background. I appreciate it.
Sure. I'm Jen Nicole Coleman, as you said, and I grew up in a little farther southwest Virginia. I went to Virginia Tech and got my bachelor's degree, and I've worked as a journalist, as a PR person, for medical agencies and for media outlets. So I have both sides of it as far as communicating with media, communicating with people, and getting the message out there about what the board is doing and going on. I'm also going to be helping out with some of the grant writing and grant coordinating and research and all of that.
Any questions?
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very honored to have this position, and I thank you all very much.
I know we have a couple of supervisors that will appreciate your college education.
Virginia Tech first.
Virginia
Hey,
Tech.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
But we thank you.
Thank
And
you.
hope things work out well.
Thank you very much.
Let us know what we can do.
I will, and you all let me know if you ever need anything.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we can move on to supervisors' report. Martha, you have anything?
No, I went to tire disposal day, spent down there an hour and a half. It really went well. Pretty day. The worst thing is people don't read the rules, because they made them pull over and get the water out of the tires. Left all the water down at the transfer station.
They still have Gatorade bottles.
Well, you know, that's plainly stated in the rules, and yet, I guess they think they can sneak them in. I don't know what they think, but the group in front of us had a trailer, it was out of Bland County, and they started before they got there. They got the water out before they got to the trailers.
It's not easy to get water out.
Oh, no.
Is that hard to flip sometimes?
Anything else? Okay,
Haven't
Gary?
done anything.
I have two things. One is, I'd like to request that we add one more thing to those people that ask questions for one thing. I had gotten a call from a lady who was concerned because people had told her that only people on the side of the road where they're putting the pipe would get the water. People on the other side of the road would not be getting water. And I explained to her how that worked, and I know that might seem, well, I don't want to say silly, but if we could add that to, that it doesn't matter which side of the road you're on.
Along the public roadway, service will be provided on both sides.
Yes, you know, but she was very concerned because she wanted the water, and she was afraid she was going to be on the opposite side of the road. And I told her not to worry, that it's, you know, that it's coming, and that they will get water to, you know, to both sides. And the other thing, I also got a call. I don't think that this has anything to do with the people putting the water in, but I thought I would check and see. And I don't know how many of you travel up and down Route 11, but right across Bishop Thomas Road, I don't know if y'all know where that is, there is a patch of asphalt that they had just brought out almost all the way across the eastbound lane of Route 11, and it's just humped up there. I don't know that it has anything to do with the water, but if it does, we need to get them to repair that, because, Buck, have you run over?
Yes, sir.
And I mean, it is a big bump. Matter of fact, the first time I hit it, Rhonda yelled at me because, you know, she thought I'd hit something. So, I mean, if we could, is there some way that we could check on that and see?
Do it right now.
Okay, and if it's not the water people, if we could maybe get word to the, you know, to the highway department that, you know, people are really starting to complain about that. And it is, it's a pretty obvious bump.
It is, water They actually drilled under the road there.
Oh, did they?
And
Okay.
They ran into some of our Witt County stone that they couldn't drill through, so they had to tear up the asphalt to get it all the way across.
Well, then they just packed the asphalt up on top.
I think a lot of times when they put the asphalt in, they leave it a little high because they know it's gonna compact a little bit, and over time, they think it'll go down. So it's a choice between having it high to start with, and then having it work out level, or whether you make it level to start with and having a dip in it later on, but I'm sure they'll work on it.
Okay, well, it seems to be kind of pronounced to me.
It is.
That's the pass you're talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, that's my understanding, that's a temporary situation, that they put it in, and they've got to come back and repair some of your feet on both sides of that, to get it smooth enough, where there's not such a pronounced bump. So, I will send an email, I'll probably make that a top priority.
May I add something?
Yep.
Why are you doing that? See if you can't get them to do something that's on their avenue. Or it walks the road out there.
Oh, there, across from, the store.
Right there, short of the store there.
Yeah, there where the bank fell off.
I went through there on my tractor the other day. Good thing I had a seatbelt on. It threw me off.
But that's basically where they worked there, humped that up there.
They built that up for, I don't know what the reason was for that, but it's at least
I saw that
2
Saturday.
inches or more higher than the rest of the road.
I saw that Saturday when I was looking for that non-existent water main.
I'm like you, I thought they did that so it would settle, but it ain't settled any, and there's a lot of traffic on that road.
Anything else, Gary?
No, sir.
Okay, Danny?
Yeah, I attended the rec commission meeting last night. Basketball season is getting ready to start, and it seems like we're having problems already working with the gyms. I know that regular school programs are starting, and as you remember years ago, we kind of worked that out, thought we had a pretty good deal going. And of course, they've had changes in personnel, and we've had changes in personnel. So I would like to suggest, well, if you would, arrange a meeting with the new superintendent. I'll be glad to attend it. You have the history. Anybody else might want to?
Actually, we've already had the meeting, the superintendent is meeting with the principal. Now we.
Saved me 20 minutes last night if I'd known that.
There's, for you ex-principals, there's obviously a principal's meeting, like once a month.
Once a month.
So, what we're looking at is actually, facility use agreement, having no cost, and we will be second in line. But we cannot, and I think this is the problem, we have to understand the school principal and athletic director's schedule before we ask for dates in the school. We need to know as much about their schedule and understand that.
Right.
So that we can schedule, because we're always gonna be second in line, but we shouldn't be sending them dates and then getting upset about it because we've asked for a date that's already committed.
That, and one of the problems that was discussed last night, and I'll give you an example, Max Meadows has 5 teams in our rec league, okay? If they don't get out of the gym, and I explained to them the high schools and so forth, till 6 o'clock, Max Meadows is wanting to close at 7:30.
I haven't heard that.
And so the custodian's telling them, I'm not working past 7:30. Well, you can't practice 5 teams in an hour and a half. And Gary Cuddy I thought he had a pretty good idea. It works with some trust, and I told him that principals are very concerned about their buildings and security and so forth, that somebody gets approved that we hire at our rate, a little trust back and forth, and that we have a key to that one area, because you can, most of our gyms in the county, you can isolate with gates and so forth, that we run them on, because it's more of a practice schedule right now problem than it is, and I understand, I've been on both sides of this fence, and
Well, typically, we don't schedule the practices. And my understanding, I will bring the subject up to the superintendent, because the superintendent has agreed to present our case, that we not be charged.
All right.
That we be responsible and charged there, not be a custodian there, and pay the overtime rate, and we have a key.
Well, if we have a key and we're not gonna be charged, and we do certify the person that has it will be responsible through us, I think it could work.
The problem is, Manny, some of the newer schools have a security system.
I understand that too.
And, I'm not sure that we're at the point that we're going to
Have those codes.
have those codes.
I understand that. Well, it's just something that, if you've already initiated it, that's fine. I just thought if I could give assistance with you, then those principals, I'd do it.
I guess we haven't talked about it, but those issues we have talked to the superintendent. I meet once a month. And, some of the other issues we started and we'll be implementing the school system. School bus garage will be starting to service county administration vehicles. There's following the board of supervisors. The sheriff's department's got too many at this point in time, but we're gonna start with a small number, and instead of taking our cars to the local garage, school board garage is gonna service those vehicles for us and do brake jobs, et cetera. But we're gonna start with the administration and see how that works. So we've got a lot of things going on with the school system. A lot of trust there. The superintendent is great to work with. It's very commendable, and he's promised, he'll look at all these issues, because the superintendent will tell you that the board funds those things, all one pot of money, if you get back to the bottom line. But,
Well, hey, you're ahead of it, that's fine. I just wanted to bring those things up that maybe you didn't know about. You might get with Mr. Cody, I know, you'll have opportunities to see where it can work it out.
I think I will think, with so many teams, it's gonna be very, very difficult. Some of those teams can't practice every day. It's just impossible to get those kids home and
Well, that's another thing. Who wants their kids out at 9 o'clock at night, going to school night playing basketball? And we're only talking, this is the 3rd and 4th grade.
I know.
Because that season's over at Christmas time, and then in the second half, we start the 6th and 7th, which might be able to stay up a little later, but, and we may have more teams at that age group, so.
The whole issue, history is everything. And the quality, and everybody playing basketball at the same time, and all the high school students heading towards all these middle schools and elementaries to practice, from the 8th grade team all the way up. They get precedence, and look, our league, and it may be one of those things long term that we've got to look at playing basketball in the off season.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Dalton, that could be solved very easily. We could go ahead and build our building.
You're there, right?
We're working on it. Maybe Mr. Houseman speak to that. We had an initial meeting about that. Yes, sir. I guess it's initial plan. But we are working on those problems. They just don't get resolved in the day.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That was it. I just told him I'd bring it forward and try to get, and I know personnel's changed this work, so.
Ms. Poole?
The only report I have is I went to the jail meeting, and, Sheriff, you and Mr. Dalton are gonna have to help me out here. They've done some reworking on the budget and this and that, having to do with the rate of pay that the state reimburses the jail for, and there's gonna be some refunds of money. Are we gonna have enough to give us a month without pay, or is ours gonna, some of them can get more than that? But our bill is probably the biggest one down there.
According to how the sheriff operates on any given month, whether we have enough money that we will have 1 month of,
The sheriff is on the finance committee. I'm not on the finance committee, so I don't know the discussion of that.
Basically, what it boils down to is the jail has been charging
the per diem for state responsible inmates, which that practice is basically going to end. The money that we have paid since July 1 will be credited to the county for the state responsible inmates that we've been charged per diem.
We'll take whatever it is, I tell you. Because like I say, I think we're the second largest, person paying down there, so we'll take whatever we can get. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Troy, you have anything?
The only thing I had was, I've already discussed with Mr. Dalton, road issues, water issues, for sure.
Gene?
I've had a couple people call lately about different things. I don't know whether this needs to go to the sheriff or what, but, Ethel Music called me. She lives at, 3086 Cripple Creek Road, and she's complaining about her neighbor's cows getting in her yard.
That would be the county.
Okay.
Thank you, Sheriff.
She talks like it's been going on for over a year. They just constantly are out.
What's that thing? She builds her own fence to keep them.
Well, but if the fence is not on her property, I mean, if it's across the road, if they're getting out in the road, then that's not her fence to build. So, I mean, I told her I would check. I didn't know if there was anything the county could do or.
We'll visit 3086.
Yeah, that's her house.
I assume she's been calling dispatch. Do you know, Sheriff? No.
Not my cows, believe it or not. I told her I wasn't the one to be calling about cows getting out, because I went to Moultrie last week and my cows were out all 3 days that I was gone. My daughter had to put the cattle back every day. The other thing I had was, he's actually my cousin, but he lives out on, what's the road that Pitts lives on?
Hidden Valley?
Yeah. He lives in the first house as you start up in there, the one that we argued about taking it off. And he said when they went in there and did it, his water line came under the road, which I think had actually been run through a culvert, but they cut his water line, didn't put it back. They cut the electric line, I think he said a dump truck or something had tore it down. He doesn't live out there, he lives in Tennessee, so I mean, I guess that's the reason he hadn't complained about it. And they also tore his fence out and didn't put it back. Wasn't VDOT supposed to put everything back like it was supposed to be?
Actually, that comes under rural additions. All that has to be cleared prior to them starting construction, or should have been. I think we knew about the well on the other side, but I thought, and the water line did come through the culvert, but I thought no.
I thought that had been addressed or fixed in some way, 'cause they couldn't run it through the culvert. That was
He said if you go out there now, he said the water line's sticking up in the air on both sides. And said that what the guy actually told him was, best thing for you to do is after I leave, go down there and run it back through and put it back together. I mean, it seems to me like while they were out there, they could have dug a ditch, run a pipe through it for him to run the water line, and put the water line under the road like it should have been, instead of paving it and then having to dig it back up. And the way he talked was just the dump truck kept its bed up too high and just ripped the power line down, and he doesn't have any power at the house now. And I don't know about the fence, I mean, he said they just tore it out.
Power line's probably the easiest one to fix. Has he called it into AUP?
I don't know if he has or not. Like I said, he doesn't live here. I mean, we had a family reunion, is the only reason I talked to him.
Is he saying like that when they did some repair work recently, or when they built the road over a year ago, they tore the electric
He's
line?
talking like when they built the road. The way he's talking, he hasn't had any electricity or water out there for over a year.
Gene, is that his house right there as you go in?
Mhm.
The house is, so the house has been empty for a year?
Yeah, the house has been empty for a long time because his dad passed away a year and a half, 2 years ago probably. The other thing that I had I talked to a lady last night, she lives at 301 Old School Road, and this is a water, I think it's probably just something to do with the water committee. She said that she paid her bill last month, I think she came up here and paid it. She got a bill this month, and it had a late fee on it, plus last month's bill, and she came in up here, and they told her that the problem was that they had wind come through, and it blowed some stuff behind some desks, and she didn't get credited for her account. Well, I mean, I can understand